I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's going on in the world of comic books this week? What new releases are on the shelf? Why won't somebody tell me all about it? So it's a really good time at the moment for DC Comics with this whole reboot of the DC universe, and not so much Final Crisis itself, but the aftermath of Final Crisis. What we found is a really kind of interesting reworking of the kind of landmarks of the DC universe, one of which includes this, Batman. And what we find in this book is that, Dick Grayson, I don't think that's a spoiler for me to say that Dick Grayson is the new Batman, and it's him starting to kind of come to terms with taking on the mantle of the Bat and all of the problems that's going to involve. He's also got to deal with Bruce Wayne's kind of errant son Damian. He's got Alfred the butler looking after him, and what's really great about this book is it's beautifully drawn and all of that stuff. You'd expect great artists on one of DC's biggest properties, but what's really interesting here is now the new nuances in the relationships, so Batman and Alfred are on much more of an even sort of balance now. Alfred needs Dick to be the Batman. Dick needs Alfred's kind of experience. It's a really interesting new relationship between them, and you see some of that in this book. Also, you've got the new boy wonder, Damian, son of Bruce Wayne. This is going to be a very interesting new dynamic, and it's being investigated in the Batman and Robin book that we saw last week. At the moment, this is really interesting and really nice reworking for all of the sort of Bat mythos, and just like Batman and Robin last week, this is well worthy of your attention. It's been really good. Not quite as good art as Mr. Quietly, but certainly worthy of your attention. So if you get a chance, check this one out. Batman 687 on your shelves this week. Also, you can't really talk about that in this week without talking about this. Now this is Red Robin. So if Dick Grayson has become the new Batman and Damian, the son of Bruce Wayne, has become the new Robin, what happened to the Robin that we had when Batman died? Okay, that was Tim Drake, and Tim Drake is now Red Robin. And what's interesting about this book is this is him, how he's coping with all of these changes in the DC universe. Is Batman dead? Isn't he? How's he dealing with that? What's he doing with himself if he's not the current Robin now? How did that all come down? That's all explained in this book. Again, really good reading. And what's really nice about all of these titles is that there is some real good kind of coordination between the different teams working on the different books, and they seem to be interlocking together really nicely. And so you don't need to read Batman to appreciate this, but if you do read both of them, it's a fuller, richer experience. So if you can, check this out. Red Robin #1. I really enjoyed it this week. 3 issues into the rebirth of The Flash, and how are we doing so far? Not bad. I mean, this is a great looking book. It's always going to be a great looking book with Evan Van Sciver providing the pencils. That was always a given. But whether this was going to make the Flash a really accessible mainstream character and take him up a notch to put him on a level with people like Superman and Batman, it's not happened so far. It could well happen in the future. I mean, this one is, it's a little bit kind of a tricky one. It's a very good book, and really rewarding if you're prepared to make the extra effort that you need to do to kind of fully appreciate all of the different nuances. But if you do that, you do get a lot out of it. It is a really great book, this. So not the easiest book, not the most accessible DC book on the shelves this week, but certainly worthy of your attention, especially if you know all about the Flash and you understand the Speed Force and all of that sort of stuff. Then this is an essential. If you don't, it's maybe, if this is your first week buying comics, there are other ones that are going to be easier for you to get into this week than this book. So bear that in mind. The Flash Rebirth #3 on your shelves this week. feels like every time this book comes out, it ends up in the show because it's always one of my favourite books of any week that it comes out. Deadpool, this is issue number 11. If you're only finding out and hearing of Deadpool from his appearance in the recent Wolverine movie, they didn't really do him justice in that movie. He's a much better character than he would seem if that's where you've only seen him before. So if you haven't had a chance already to check him out, check out Deadpool. This is issue number 11 on Marvel. It's out this week, and I promise you it's a great laugh. This is Green Lantern Corps number 37. Again, branded as a prelude to Blackest Night. Now, the prelude to Blackest Night seems to have been going on for absolutely months. So all I know is that if you're at DC right now and you're working on Blackest Night, you better deliver the goods, because the hype has been going for this for a very long time. But taking us back to this book, what have we got here? I mean, the sprawling space epic that we get in the Green Lantern Corps is essentially what we find here. If you've not been following it, it is kind of tricky to kind of follow all of the different characters and all of the different locations and actually piece it all together. But if you have been following it, that's part of the fun of doing it. The fact that it jumps from place to place around the galaxy, and you have to really pay attention and read and look at what you're doing. You know what I mean? This isn't like popcorn for your eyes. This is something considerably more substantial than that. So if you've been following it, great. Keep going with it. It's really good fun. I'm really looking forward to this Blackest Night thing. I hope that it delivers. If you haven't been, it might be a bit of a tricky one to pick up. But again, well worth the time if you do. This is Green Lantern Corps number 37, out this week. Now, we knew, it seemed that it was going to be quite obvious that Spider-Man, the Dark Reign thing, it was going to be very significant for Spider-Man because Norman Osborn was originally his villain. So you would assume that Spider-Man would have to, and Norman Osborn would have to go at it at some point. And this storyline that we've got going on at the moment, American Son, is giving us the first bit. I can't imagine this is going to be the last of the battles between Norman Osborn and Spider-Man. Those are going to go on for a little while. This is kind of the first big one in Dark Reign, and you really just kind of got to grab yourself a ticket, strap yourself in and enjoy the ride, because this is great fun at the moment. Spider-Man 597. Wow, we've got up there really quick. Looking forward to Spider-Man 600. That's going to be a big one. That's coming up real soon. Give it another 2 or 3 weeks for that one. But in the meantime, enjoy this 597 out this week.
You're standing a silhouette.
So thanks for joining us. That's pretty much all we've got time for this week on Fantastic Realm. We'll be back next week with more new comic books. Until then, keep rating us, keep sending us your comments and questions, and don't forget, if you're feeling the show, let somebody know. This ain't a joke. Seriously, go and tell someone about us right now. See you next week. You can buy any of the books we reviewed at fantasticrealm.co.uk, and don't forget to quote the code FAN1 to get yourself a 10% discount. You can also check us out at our eBay store and see more videos, or join our online communities at Facebook, MySpace and YouTube. We've now launched the Fantastic Realm video podcast on iTunes, so feel free to add a comment about this video below, and don't forget you can drop by the store to check out what we've got in stock.